Hello, welcome back to HAG'S LAB. Today we're going to have a look at this. It's a program I made for the C64. We're going to have a look at how I make a cartridge and we'll try it out on the C64. Also, there's a reason I have my hacker hoodie on, because that's obviously hacking. That was obviously my cheesy version of the classic hacker from movies and TV, but real hacking is way cooler. I'm very interested in cybersecurity, and I like to practice my ethical hacking skills using sites like HackTheBox and TryHackMe. What you see here is actually me gaining administration access to a Windows machine on TryHackMe. And we did it. Finally. One day when I was working in my Kali Linux terminal, I got the idea to try and make a version of the classic cmatrix program, but for the Commodore 64. And that was the perfect project, since I was currently looking into CC65, which is a C cross compiler for 6502 based systems. cmatrix is a terminal program made to look like the Matrix code from the Matrix movies. And cmatrix has been around for a long time, and news items on the website date back to 1999, which is the same year the Matrix came out. Today I am releasing my version of cmatrix for the Commodore 64. I call it C64matrix, and in this video I will make an actual C64 cartridge for it. This is what we're going to make today. This is a C64 cartridge, and this is already assembled. I bought this off of tfw8b.com, the future was 8bit.com. There are multiple configurations for the cartridge, depending on which kind of ROM you put on here, and the different configurations, like the EEPROM and game pins and stuff like that. So what we'll do today is just make one more of these. So I have a plain PCB here and a new socket. As you can see, the reset switch is already pre-soldered from the store, factory. As you can see, these cases are also from thefuturewas8bit.com, and I think they maybe have cases where the switch is available externally as well. I'm going to use a socket to solder in place here, because I don't want to solder the ROM directly to the PCB. So I have this socket ready, and it should be easy to just solder that in place and we're good to go. And even with the socket inside, there is room for both the sockets and the EEPROM inside these cases. That works fine. So that's good. So we don't have to solder the IC directly. Let's get this out of the way. We'll just line the socket up with the notch on the PCB. There we go. And I'll quickly put some flux on this. And that should be an easy job to solder. Then we just start soldering. So let's see if I can get this flush. The reset switch is taller than the socket, so that's gonna hit my mat here first. I'm gonna put that into this crease on my mat. So now the PCB is laying flat on the socket. Just gonna start in one of the corners as usual. Easy. And then we'll take the opposite corner. Very nice. And now everything's in place. So I'll move this a little bit closer to the camera. And we'll just keep soldering all the pins. I think that should be perfectly fine. I think that's pretty good. We'll clean it up, and I guess we could also have a look with the microscope just to make sure. So here it is on the microscope before I've cleaned off the flux and residue. And I think the solder joints and the solder seems fine. I think we just need to clean it up. I have my bottle of IPA and a toothbrush. So let's just clean this up. I think that cleaned up nicely. It looks fine. So let's take one more look on the microscope and we'll continue with the solder bridges. So here we are under the microscope again after the cleanup, and as you can see it looks quite a bit better. Maybe not perfect, but I think the solder joints are fine. So now it's just a matter of doing the same solder bridges as I have done earlier with this other cartridge. And that means we should put a blob on all of these, a 13, 14 and 15. And we're gonna do a blob on the EEPROM and ROM low pin. Do some flux on this as well. And on the two relevant ones on this side. Alright, let's just get to it. Gonna need quite a bit of solder to bridge these connections. Could have used a jumper of some kind, but it should be fine. Just a big blob as well. That should be fine. Is that bridged? I don't think so. And now for the other ones here. So it's gonna be these two and these two. Might not be the prettiest, but it gets the job done. Just like myself. Do the cleanup here as well. Well, that's it. Job done. Let's measure the label space on this cartridge so we can make our label fit perfectly here. And I think 54 millimeters wide and 13 high. That should work fine. So let's just get that printed and let's put it on. I created a few label concepts in paint.net. I tried these two first, but they didn't turn out very nice when I printed them. So I made a new concept which works better, I think. And I made a little bit of a tweak to the, let's call it the icon at the end. So I made it like this instead, just some Petsky character. So this will be our final label. I put my label into Microsoft Word, so I'm going to set the correct size before we print. And according to our sizes, we should have 5.4 centimeters wide. And the aspect ratio is almost correct, so 1.3 there. And I'll just copy a few of these to, so we have some extras before I print. And I'll print this on some label paper, and we'll cut it out and put it on the cartridge. So we have our labels. I'll try and cut this out to my best ability here, so we get hopefully a nice label on the cartridge case. The colors don't look that good on camera, and they could definitely be brighter and nicer, and the printer is not the best for the task. But we'll just have to make do. So let's just get started. So this is label paper, so I can easily apply the label afterwards. Okay, that does look pretty nice. I'll try one more label, see if I can get a nicer line. I think that's pretty good. That's not too bad. I think I overcut the red part there a little bit compared to the others. Yeah, that is pretty obvious. I think I actually prefer the first one that I did now. Time to apply this as best as I can. Let's see if I can get the backing paper off. There we go. Use the blade to get a start. Let's try and get this nice and centered. Oh, I think it's too far gone. That looks pretty nice. Doesn't have to be perfect, it's homemade. Let's program the EEPROM with the latest version of C64 matrix. Okay, so that should be programmed. Let's put it all into the case again. Did actually have a pin here to help to program this EEPROM because one of the pins are actually broken. Let's see if I can show you. Yeah, so this pin is actually broken off, but it's not in use in the cartridge. But we do need to have it connected while programming. So that's why I had this extra leg here. There we go, one custom C64 cartridge with my own program on it. That's pretty cool. Looks nice. I did actually go over and touch up the edges of the label with a black marker because like the white edges were showing so easily. But I think it looks pretty nice now. Let's pop this in the C64 and see what happens. So this is how C64 matrix looks when you plug in the cartridge and turn on the C64. It just takes you straight into the matrix, and this is the default green theme, and it uses 2 shades of green and uses white for the changing character at the bottom of every column. So let's just go through the different functions of C64 matrix. We can use 1 through 5 to change some colors and themes, and then we have some other function keys. We have R for reverse mode, S for shifted mode, and P for symbols only mode. P is for PETSCI, since this shows PETSCI symbols. And we can also use plus and minus up here to change the maximum tail length of the columns. It's return to enter the matrix, and return or any other keys than the function keys to return to the menu. We can also do a soft reset directly from the menu if you want to. The function keys are active in the menu as well as while we are in the matrix. So if I were to change, let me just go into the menu and I'll change the background color. So if I go into the matrix now, we're going to have a red background. And if I press 1 again, we can change the color on the background color on the fly as well. And we can use 2 to change the foreground color. And as we can see from the menu, we have 3 is the green theme and 4 is the blue theme. And we also have rainbow theme on 5. So if I press 3 now, we go back to the default green theme. Four for the blue theme. And 5 for the rainbow theme. We can also make a lot of cool combinations with just changing the background and foreground colors. I like how that looks. That looks pretty cool. Anyway, so let's look into some of the other features. We have reverse mode, and that just reverses the character set. So let's see how that looks. So it reverses the colors of the characters. And we can change that on the fly as well. And then we have the shifted mode. So that changes the character set, so we can use upper and lower case characters. That reduces the number of symbols on in the character set, but it looks pretty cool as well. Now if I go into symbols mode using P, we have way more symbols. So that switches over to the normal character set again and just uses all the symbols instead of characters. I think that looks really nice as well, especially in the reversed mode. And last we have the maximum tail length. So if I turn that up to 20, which is the max, we can see that every column of characters gets longer. This is still random, but it can get up to 20 characters for the tail now. And if I go back to the menu and we'll take that down to, let's say, 5, get a different look. You can also change that on the fly. That looks pretty cool. So an easy way to just reset all the defaults is just to use the soft reset function. So you just press X and it all resets, goes back into the matrix, and you can go back to the menu and do the changes you want. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you would like to see more like this in the future, maybe hit that subscribe button. Bye bye.